Today in the studio, we have Kiran Jethwa, chef, entrepreneur, restaurateur, TV personality, and now gastronaut. A third-generation Kenyan, Kieran is blazing the trail as Kenya's first celebrity chef and is staking a claim for Africa on the global food scene.
Do you reckon that bad boy is?
I'm George Asias, founder of African Speakers and Artists, and I'd like to welcome you to our Trailblazer interview series. First things first, congratulations on the new show.
Thank you.
Fearless Chef.
That's me.
Been picked up 10-part series, is it?
Yeah, it's 10 episodes, each episode focusing on a country, so 10 countries picked up in.
Okay, and what's the, just to tell our viewers what the concept is?
So the Fearless Chef is, it's a journey across the world looking for people who go through the most extreme measures to harvest their ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't so ingredient-led, it was route to the ingredient-led. And we just found stories all over the place of people who go to, madness to get their food. And sort of the contrast between how easy it is for us to eat and how difficult it is for other people to get to their food. So we did Bolivia, Nepal, Peru, Borneo, China, Mongolia, Ethiopia, Mozambique, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, I think is what it was.
Wow.
And in each of those locations we'd found, really interesting stories, and it's high adrenaline, but also very informative. So
okay,
so
we're glad we caught you in Kenya.
Exactly, I'm here every now and then.
Good stuff. You and I have known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember watching you play rugby really badly for the Kenya national team a few years ago. But I must say, we've all watched on and been really proud about your amazing 6 years that you've had. You set up with your partners two of the most successful restaurants in Nairobi. You set up, I think with your brother, the Good Food Company, which is a fresh food delivery company throughout Nairobi. You also have a gym franchise. You own a production film company. In addition to your TV shows, I mean, it's where did it all go wrong?
Yes, ADD is what I think it is. My head is always in 5 different spaces at once. I don't know. It's a case of. I mean, I'm half an Indian and we're just businessmen, business.
Okay.
So it's just that's really run through my veins, and it was just, opportunities that I saw, and I was just like, you just got to do it. I think that's the point of being in this part of the world, with yourself setting up this company here, there are so many opportunities that, if you have the initiative and a bit of drive, you can go for it. And so that's just a case. I started the restaurants, I'm a chef, that's my core business, that's who I am. But then other things came along, I love fitness, so I brought CrossFit to Kenya. So that's just a case of, and I think I've got to a point where I really have to reel back a little bit, because I've got a lot on my plate. Yeah. With the television gaining quite serious momentum, it's very time consuming. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm just about managing it. Okay.
One of the themes across these interviews is examining this kind of Africa Rising narrative and how it relates to the different industries that are represented by the speakers on our roster. There's been an explosion in entrepreneurship and innovation right across Africa. Does Africa Rising apply to the food scene the way you see it?
It applies to everything, I think across the board. I was in a meeting the other day in Bahrain, and the chap that I was with threw quite an interesting statistic at me. Basically, I think by 2050, between Africa and the Middle East, a third of the population of the planet will be spread between Africa and the Middle East. Everyone's talking about the boom in China and the boom between Africa and the Middle East. One in 3 people will come from those 2 regions. Mm-hmm. So, okay, let's concentrate on Africa. It's a lot of mouths to feed, and that's why everybody is coming in here. It's just people equals opportunity equals, economy, whatever you want to call it. Everybody needs to eat. So whichever end of the spectrum you're at, whether you're the bottom end or the top end from price point, it's a lot of people. And, in this part of the world, particularly Kenya, there's a booming middle class, discerning customer, people are slightly more educated. As a result, consumer demands are higher, expectations are higher. And so, yes, I think it probably applies more to the food scene than to any other, because that is one commonality, is that a word? Yeah. That we share, is everyone needs to eat.
Yeah. And would you say that arguably South Africa is kind of there already, and then the rest of the continent is catching up, or is comparing the two,
there's
like
no question.
comparing apples and oranges?
South Africa is light years ahead. Let's talk about sub-Saharan Africa here.
Yeah.
From a food perspective, definitely, and where they are really far. One, they've got a sort of a far greater educated middle class than we do in terms of numbers, and for educated from a food perspective, they have sort of slightly higher expectations. And so, and then the other side, the other thing, as a result of that, is a very advanced supply chain, and that is the key to. That's where we're really far behind.
Okay, and that's where the opportunity is.
The supply chain is just non-existent in this part of the world. You know, to get quality produce all the way through, whichever sort of segment of the industry you're in, that is where we need to really step up. But it's kind of it's just organic growth. You know, there wasn't the demand, so the supply chain didn't exist. The demand is growing, so the supply chain is getting better. It's probably accelerated, but it takes time for any of these things. But as a restaurateur or a chef, that's the most frustrating thing for me. Is just not being able to get consistent produce all the time.
Right.
And that's where I think we're a little bit far behind.
Yeah, and to match those expectations that people have, because they're now traveling all over the world and they're experiencing things and tasting things, and they want that back home, and they just simply can't get it, right?
Yeah. I mean, beef is a fantastic example in this country. You cannot right now get a decent steak in Kenya
unless you import it.
You can't import beef.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you can't. There's a ban.
Yeah.
So I couldn't import Wagyu and all the Kobe. I can't, even if I wanted to. Not allowed.
Yeah.
And I can't buy any decent beef because the farmers, the guys who are attempting breeding programs, are 5 years behind. You know, they're a long way away. So it's a big problem. You can't have I've taken all the steaks off my menu. Everything.
I think that will surprise a lot of people. I mean, you look around Kenya and you think, okay, if there's one thing we have here, it's good meat. But I'm sure that will shock a lot of people.
We don't. You cannot get consistency. I had a restaurant based purely on steak.
Yeah.
It was a steakhouse. We built it as a steakhouse.
Yeah.
It is now a completely different restaurant. I removed everything from the menu because there's no consistency. It's a nightmare, and that's kind of like very, very frustrating. You know,
Yeah.
On my side, you do all the right things. You've got the creativity, the menus, the environment, the setup, the staff. You can't get the product.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we are. We're falling behind a little bit, but it will come.
There's opportunity.
It's and people are stepping into those holes.
Okay. I mean, obviously we're a speaker bureau. We're East Africa's, I'm happy to say, leading speaker bureau, and you were with us right from the beginning. We're very, very proud to represent you. Why do people hire you as a speaker? You're somebody that wears lots of hats.
Yeah.
What's your thing? What do you talk about? What's your presentation style?
So first and foremost, I'm a chef, and I have restaurants. But I can step into the entrepreneur in Africa shoes. I have four or five different businesses. I should really remember that, shouldn't I? That are all very different.
Yeah.
And are completely different. So from that perspective, I have a lot of experience in how to do business in this area and in this part of the world. Talking about, when it comes back to the core of who I am, being a chef, food, and my experiences, like through my TV show, I've been able to travel in sub-Saharan Africa a lot and experience local foods, local cuisines across the country. So
you can use that as the kind of mechanic to immerse people in the culture?
Yeah, and you've got benchmarks all over the place from which you can draw and compare and just draw parallels or not between different areas in the continent.
And if you ever do live tasting, I think I'll probably come to one of your events.
You look like you enjoy your food.
Don't go there. Don't go there. We'll cut that out later.
George is a very regular member of my gym, and he's hardcore, man. He's hardcore.
Not that you could tell.
He's got a good front squat. We'll give him that.
Okay, that you can say.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, so and I mean, just sort of drawing from my experiences and being able to relay that, whether it's restaurants, whether it's supply chain, whether it's just general business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of, like I said, I can wear a number of hats.
Okay. Do you ever have kind of immersive events where you have tastings and you actually let people feel, touch, and taste some of the products that you cook? I
often do sort of. I'm hired, is for use of a better word, to go and do sort of exclusive events for people with creative menus. Did a thing for James Murdoch the other day in Bali.
Okay.
And all the sort of leaders of the Asian TV scene, so I did a bespoke dinner for them. That was very much focused on dishes from my new show. But a year previously, Martina Navratilova and a few others had a private dinner, and I did a menu based on my experiences from my African Tales from the Bush larder. So I'm quite good at telling stories through food.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's quite a good way of being a chef. It's you know,
so that's interesting, and it's been interesting for us to not only see you get hired for these types of catering and speaking opportunities in Africa, but much further afield, like Bali, as you say.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be more of that to come in 2016.
Yeah.
As a trailblazer, and as you know, this series is called the Trailblazer interview series. What do you see as the next kind of big thing in the region and continent's culinary journey?
Well, we're kind of seeing it. I don't think there's a next sort of concept that's going to come here in terms of it's going to revolutionize. You know, you couldn't say that's it, because the problem with the food industry is, you know, there's all the way through. You've got high end, middle. You know, what you are seeing though is a lot of the big brands starting to come here, and I think that's kind of the next
for events thing. Or to set up shop.
This is for food, for restaurants.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of it at the moment. News Cafe from South Africa have just opened a number of restaurants around here. You know, Pizza Hut. Not that I would ever eat Pizza Hut. You know, it's kind of they're very good indications that these are global brands.
Yeah.
They do their market research. They don't just come into an area like this blindly because they spend a lot of money. They are very good indicators that there's obviously a lot of activity and a lot of sort of opportunity in the sector.
And they might want your insights.
Yes.
I think. I mean, food retailers, in fact, retailers in general, we're seeing an explosion of shopping malls and new high streets all over Kenya.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I mean, I think maybe where we might see a little bit more of a sort of in the media. The problem we have here in Kenya particularly is that the broadcasters don't have the budgets that are required to be able to produce world-class television. But I think it's getting there. You know, we've just done a cooking show for Citizen. It's the second season, or is it Nation? We've just done a cooking show for one of the local broadcasters, which is called Royco Fata Flavor, and it was a hybrid of a number of concepts. It was a cook-off type show. The production quality was pretty high. There was the budgets were there, so you know it shows that there is starting to be an appetite. So you're going to have local celebrity chefs who are starting to come up in the region, and you know they'll grow out from there. I mean, I've kind of skipped straight out. I was fortunate enough to. I didn't go through any local I just skipped straight out into the international as well. I was very lucky. Just took a punt and it worked. But I think maybe in the media sector you're going to see quite a lot of that going on as well.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Well, thank you for that. I mean, one more question. I can't let you get away without asking this one. You're at one of your restaurants. You booked out your own little private room. You can invite 3 people to have a dinner party with. Dead or alive, fictional or real, me not included. Who would they be? Heidi Klum. You can invite me if you want. I don't mind.
Heidi Klum, Cindy Crawford, and Naomi Campbell. The 3 of them.
That comes as no surprise whatsoever.
We can repeat that question.
I'm looking forward to your wife watching this.
I think it would be Nelson Mandela, genuinely, Jonah Lomu, poor guy, and my dad.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Kieran, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. All the best.
Wicked, dude. Thank you.